I think a lot of the entrepreneurs that we talk to in the open source space are kind of right at the cusp of making this transition of, yeah, as you said, like focusing, yeah, very engineer driven and focused and kind of switching more to users and customers and starting to bridge that gap as you start to build the business. So where you are at Stream Native right now, what are the metrics that you're really looking at to know if your initiatives are doing good? I think at this point now you have revenue that you're looking at, but on the open source side, as it relates to that, what are the main metrics that matter most at Stream Native?
Yeah, so the way how we're looking into
Yeah,
this
Matt's
is
putting on a
essential.
different hat.
Okay,
My
I
bad.
like
Sorry. Yeah,
that.
we're really ready for this answer.
So I think at the end of the day is we definitely have quite a lot of learning curve there. Is the At the end of the day we have to find what is the most effective channel. We tried at the beginning. I think community is definitely the channel, and in the middle, I think we still kind of try a bunch of different things. But at the end of the day, what we found is if community is still the most effective channel for open source business. So the way how I'm looking into the metric is the obviously ARR is the in the current economy that the founders, executive, the investor, the board that need to looking into. But at the same time is the what drives the ARR is the how large is your community and how many people is using this technology and how we can convert these open source users to the I would say paying customers. So that's the I would say that's the foundation. And so meaning how large of the community. I think Matt, we have a lot of conversation with Matt in terms of how we want to measure the community metrics. But at the end of the day, I think it would become people. So people meaning either you are contributors, that is the how many people you're contributing there. Users, how many users that are using open source Pulsar. The other one is the I would say influencer. They are not directing using Pulsar, but they might writing articles. They might be patient about these like Pulsar. So those are kind of two different metrics that I was looking into the community, and that would determine how large the community we can go, and then that would determine what is the cap of our entire business can go from there.
Now it's interesting because with that there's a lot of different levers that you can pull, right? So you look at the number of contributors, the number of users. Obviously growing the numbers important, but also improving the efficiency where they see value in actually paying for something, right?
Yeah.
So there's two sides to that coin. I think a lot of times people focus on just get more contributors, just get more and more and more. But there's also a lot of those, efficiencies. And how do we say, like, what's so compelling to get them to actually purchase?
Yeah.
And a lot of people struggle with that.
Not just purchase. I think Matt touched a really good point. Is how effective the community channel it is how the conversion that will go there. Since Matt you mentioned about contributor, I want to kind of use an example. Is those three different metrics is actually changing over time. At the beginning, I think you really focus on contributor. As you move, you're probably looking into influencer, then you're looking into users. So I think you probably care all three at different stage, but you put different weights at different stage. For example, at the beginning, we put a lot of efforts on the contributor because that is the way. How early adopters were using Pulsar, they use it, they contribute it because the project is not perfect, it's still not mature enough, so you still need to fix bug. So like having contributor contributing, having those contributors talking about Pulsar, that is the way how you plant the seeds of the community and then going from there. But as you grow there, you probably don't need a lot of contributors, or the you're looking more these users. So that means then how can you get people from not knowing about Pulsar towards writing the first application? That is the channel That is that is the path that we need to shorten, and how to shorten that is would be the community focus. Is that are we going to optimize the documentation? Are we going to optimize the entire download, so that we can get people from doesn't know about Pulsar towards building the first application? Then this is this is the top funnel, and then once they build the first application, then how we can drive them to use more features there. Then that is going through the rest of the I would say nurturing process is to get people excited about more features, excited about kind of the a lot of benefits coming out of Pulsar, and then you are able to insert certain like interactions through your DAppRio team, through your potential support team or account executive to work with those people in that journey.